From the moment you entered this world, there was something about you that marked you as different. You may not have realized it in your early years, but the spirit within you was never ordinary. It carried a light, a frequency, a vibration so distinct that even the unseen realms took notice. Heaven celebrated your arrival, and hell trembled. For a chosen one is not just another soul passing through time. A chosen one is a carrier of divine purpose, a vessel of light, and a warrior whose destiny threatens the dominion of darkness. Your spirit is untouchable, not because you were perfect, not because you were without flaws, but because the hand of God Himself has placed a seal upon you. That seal cannot be removed by man, broken by evil, or cancelled by the schemes of demons. This is the truth the enemy hopes you never fully realize, because the moment you recognize who you are and what you carry, you walk differently, speak differently, move differently. You no longer cower in fear when storms rise, because deep inside, you know, storms may rage, but you are covered. You've probably asked yourself before, why do people treat me differently? Why does darkness seem to follow me? And why do I attract so much envy, jealousy, or attack? The answer is simple but profound. Light is always noticed in the midst of darkness. Demons, spirits, and energies that operate in the unseen realm know exactly who you are the moment you step into a room. They sense the covering on your life, the divine flame that cannot be extinguished. To them, you are not just another human being. You are a living threat. Think back on your life. Haven't you noticed how even as a child, things seemed to come against you in ways that didn't make sense? Others may have lived casually, with no sense of spiritual weight around them, but you were different. The attacks on your mind, the unusual pressure, the feeling that something wanted to keep you from rising, those weren't coincidences. Those were early signs that the mark of the untouchable spirit rested upon you, and that mark drew attention, both good and bad. Heaven rejoiced, but hell recognized the danger. The untouchable spirit doesn't mean you will never face hardship. In fact, chosen ones often walk through the hardest fires. But here's the mystery. The fire refines you. It doesn't consume you. Others may collapse under the weight of trials, but somehow you rise stronger. Others may lose their minds in storms, but somehow you come out wiser, clearer, sharper. And this isn't because you're made of steel. It's because the spirit within you cannot be broken. You've been equipped with a resilience that is not of this world. Picture a warrior walking through a battlefield. Arrows are flying, enemies are plotting, chaos is everywhere. Yet that warrior moves with calm determination, shield raised, sword in hand, eyes fixed on victory. That's you in the unseen. Demons launch arrows of fear, anxiety, depression, or confusion, but they bounce off the covering around your soul. They attempt to whisper lies into your ear, but your spirit discerns the difference between truth and deception. They send people to drain you, to distract you, to break you, but you rise again and again. Why? Because what is inside you is greater than what is against you. Many chosen ones don't even realize that their very existence frustrates the plans of darkness. Simply waking up in the morning is an act of resistance. Every breath you take is a reminder that hell did not win. Every step you take in alignment with your purpose is a dagger in the heart of the enemy's schemes. You don't have to shout. You don't have to boast. Your spirit announces itself in silence. Demons feel your presence before you even speak. They recognize the authority you carry, because it is not your own authority, it is divine. Some of you may have noticed how people often react strangely around you. Some feel inexplicably drawn to you, while others avoid you or feel uncomfortable in your presence. This isn't because of anything outward, but because of the spirit within you. Those carrying light will feel peace and recognition around you. Those carrying darkness will feel exposed, nervous, or even hostile. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The untouchable spirit within you shines as a mirror, reflecting truth, and not everyone can handle that reflection. Let me tell you something powerful. Demons don't fear your name, your appearance, or your achievements. They fear your spirit. They fear what you carry inside, the divine essence that makes you untouchable. Your prayers shake atmospheres. Your presence shifts environments. Your silence carries weight. And when you open your mouth to declare truth, to worship, or to call on God, the entire spiritual realm pays attention. Heaven leans in to respond, and hell trembles at the sound. This is why the enemy tries so hard to keep you distracted, broken, and doubting yourself. If you ever fully step into your identity as a chosen one, you become unstoppable. You become a living testimony that God's power is real, that His protection is unshakable, and that no darkness can prevail against His light. This is why you've had to endure betrayals, delays, loneliness, and seasons of pruning. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong. Not because you are forgotten, but because you are set apart. Your untouchable spirit is evidence of a covenant, an eternal promise between you and God. That covenant says, you may stumble, but you will not be destroyed. You may be pressed, but you will not be crushed. You may face battles, but you will always rise victorious. And every time you rise, demons are reminded that their power has limits. Their reach stops where God's hand begins. Understand this. Untouchable doesn't mean trouble-free. It means protected. It means no weapon formed against you will prosper. It means the fire may burn, but it will not consume you. The waters may rise, but they will not drown you. The storm may howl, but it will not break you. And the reason is simple. You are chosen for a divine assignment that must be completed. Until that assignment is fulfilled, nothing can remove you from this earth. Nothing. When you look back over your life, notice the moments where you should have been gone, the accidents you survived, the situations you escaped, the nights you cried but somehow made it to morning. Those weren't luck. Those weren't coincidences. That was evidence of the untouchable spirit within you, surrounded by angels, shielded by grace. This is the truth the enemy hopes you forget. He hopes you see yourself as weak, ordinary, replaceable. But heaven knows better. Heaven sees the mark on your spirit, the light burning in your soul. And every time you rise, every time you pray, every time you choose love over hate, faith over fear, purpose over distraction, you reveal to the world and to the unseen realm that your spirit cannot be touched. This is why demons fear you. This is why darkness cannot stand your presence. Not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. Not because you are flawless, but because you are sealed. Not because of who you are alone, but because of who walks with you. Your spirit is untouchable, and that truth changes everything. The untouchable spirit within you is not just a shield, it is a beacon. It radiates a frequency that draws both light and darkness toward you. This is why your journey has never been normal. From the earliest stages of your life, you probably felt a weight you couldn't explain. People may have mocked you for being too sensitive, too deep, too different. But the truth is that your sensitivity was not weakness, it was spiritual radar. You've always been tuned into a wavelength most people ignore. Where others walked blindly into traps, you sensed danger before it came. Where others tolerated lies, your spirit recoiled. Where others could blend in, you stood out. And you couldn't stop it, even if you tried, because the mark of an untouchable spirit is not something you can hide. Think about the environments you've walked through. Haven't you noticed how your presence disrupts certain atmospheres? You walk into a room and suddenly the energy shifts. Some people light up, smiling as though their souls feel relief in your presence. Others grow quiet, restless, or even hostile, as though something inside them has been disturbed. That's not about you personally. That's about the spirit you carry. Demons, whether working through people or lurking in the unseen, recognize instantly when an untouchable spirit has stepped in. They can't ignore you. You remind them of their defeat, of the authority that covers you, of the eternal light they cannot extinguish. This is also why you may have felt isolated for much of your life. Chosen ones rarely fit into the groups or systems around them. You could try to shrink yourself, try to dim your light, try to conform, but eventually your spirit would rebel against the falsehood. You were never meant to be part of the crowd. You were meant to stand out, to stand apart, and to stand firm. And though the loneliness of that calling may have been painful, it was also necessary. God separates his warriors to strengthen them. He allows the chosen to walk through wilderness seasons so they discover that their power comes not from validation, but from him alone. Demons fear chosen ones most when they realize you've embraced this separation, because the moment you stop craving the approval of the world, you become unstoppable. You no longer chase friendships that drain you, opportunities that distract you, or environments that suppress you. You begin to walk with clarity, knowing that if God is with you, no one else needs to be. That independence terrifies the enemy, because it means you can no longer be manipulated through loneliness, temptation, or comparison. Your untouchable spirit is also marked by resilience. Look at your life and count the battles you've survived. Some of them should have destroyed you, yet here you are. Some of them should have broken your mind, your body, or your faith, yet here you stand, stronger than before. That's not normal. That's not coincidence. That's the untouchable spirit at work, covered by divine protection, infused with sacred resilience. Every storm you survived wasn't just about your survival. It was about proving, over and over, that the spirit within you is not of this world. You see, demons study patterns. They know human weaknesses. They know how easily most people collapse under pressure. But when they launch attack after attack at you and you keep rising, they grow frustrated. When they send betrayal your way and you forgive anyway, they panic. When they push you into the fire and you come out refined instead of destroyed, they realize this one is different. This one cannot be touched. This one is covered. And let me tell you, demons absolutely hate when you recognize your own authority. Because as long as you doubt yourself, they still have room to whisper, to discourage, to deceive. But when you wake up one day and realize, wait a minute, I am chosen, I am sealed, I am untouchable, suddenly their power evaporates. They can roar, but they can't bite. They can scheme, but they can't win. They can threaten, but they cannot touch what God has sanctified. This is why your battles have been so fierce. The enemy doesn't waste energy on the ordinary. He doesn't launch heavy artillery at someone with no destiny. He saves his sharpest weapons for the chosen, the anointed, the sealed. And that explains your story. You weren't attacked because you're weak. You were attacked because you're dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Your spirit is a walking declaration that God still reigns, that His light still shines, that His love still saves. And no demon can silence that declaration. Many chosen ones also notice that their dreams are battlegrounds. You may have experienced nights of warfare, strange dreams, or spiritual attacks while you slept. That's because your spirit glows even in rest. Demons know they can't destroy you in waking life, so they try to intimidate you in the night. But even there, your spirit stands tall. Even there, angels surround you. Even there, your prayers and your light disrupt their plans. Another sign of your untouchable spirit is the way blessings follow you, even in dry places. Others may labor endlessly without fruit, but you often find favor in unexpected places. Doors open for you that should have been locked. People show up to help you without knowing why. Opportunities align at just the right moment. This isn't because life is easy for you, far from it. But it's because heaven is invested in your journey. You were not sent to earth to live in defeat. You were sent to demonstrate victory, and every time demons see you rise, they are reminded of their failure. They thought you'd give up by now. They thought you'd crumble under the weight of betrayal. They thought depression would consume you. They thought isolation would silence you. But you kept going, and in your persistence, you humiliated them. They fear you because every step forward you take proves that their power is limited. Chosen one, understand this truth. Your spirit is untouchable because it carries a piece of eternity. Within you resides the very breath of God, the flame that never dies, the covenant that cannot be broken. That is why you walk through shadows and yet remain untouched. That is why you endure storms and yet remain unshaken. That is why, despite everything thrown at you, you're still here, glowing, rising, and carrying light wherever you go. The enemy will never admit it openly, but demons know they've already lost when it comes to you. They fear your spirit because they know it's not really you they're fighting, it's the God within you. And that battle they can never win. Your untouchable spirit manifests in ways that are often subtle, yet powerful beyond measure. Many chosen ones don't even realize the full extent of the energy they carry, because it has been with them from birth. You may have noticed that ordinary people respond differently to you. Some are drawn inexplicably, while others are repelled. This polarity is not by accident. Light draws light, and darkness recoils in its presence. Your spirit is a divine frequency, and any force attuned to lower vibrations simply cannot align with it. That is why, even in the midst of hostility, you often find that your presence alone diffuses tension, calms anxiety, and inspires courage in others. Consider your emotions and intuition. Chosen ones rarely experience life like those around them. Your feelings are amplified. Your intuition is a compass, guiding you away from danger and toward opportunity. You might have dismissed this as being overly sensitive in the past, but sensitivity in a chosen one is a spiritual alert system. It is your internal radar detecting energies, spirits, and intentions that are invisible to most. Demons, and even spiritually dangerous people, instinctively recognize this radar and attempt to suppress it, often through manipulation, doubt, or subtle intimidation. But the more you tune into your own spirit, the less these attacks affect you. Awareness is power. Recognition of your spiritual strength is the first step to living untouchable. Your untouchable nature also reveals itself through the way people react around you. Notice how some individuals suddenly change behavior in your presence. They may become defensive, cold, or irritable for no apparent reason. This is not about you personally. It is the mirror of their own darkness being exposed by your light. Demons, working through humans, are disturbed when the chosen step into their environment because the light inside you exposes lies, hidden agendas, and spiritual contamination. Your untouchable spirit is like a living mirror, reflecting truth and shining on what was meant to remain in shadow. There is also a profound link between your perseverance and your untouchable nature. Life has likely tested you repeatedly. Relationships, work, personal health, betrayals, and financial hardships. Each trial was not random. Heaven allowed, or even orchestrated, circumstances that would reveal the strength of your spirit. Unlike ordinary resilience, the resilience of the chosen is intertwined with divine purpose. Your ability to withstand pressure, to continue walking faithfully even when nothing seems to be working, is evidence of supernatural endurance. Demons fear this endurance because it cannot be intimidated, exhausted, or corrupted. No matter how relentless the attack, your spirit responds not with fear, but with fortified resolve. Dreams and visions are another sign of your untouchable spirit. Chosen ones are often visited in dreams by warnings, guidance, or encouragement. These experiences can be vivid and sometimes frightening, particularly if spiritual attacks are involved. Demons attempt to disrupt your sleep to weaken your mind, confuse your perception, or instill fear. But these nocturnal attacks cannot break your spirit if you remain anchored in faith. Your dreams are not random. They are strategic communication from the divine, a way of keeping you prepared, alert, and aligned with your purpose. The more you heed these spiritual signals, the more untouchable you become. Your ability to recover from betrayal is another hallmark. Ordinary people crumble when trust is broken, but chosen ones understand that not all setbacks are personal attacks. Many are divine tests. This perspective transforms pain into power. When someone close deceives you, your initial response may involve shock or sorrow, but ultimately your spirit recognizes that betrayal cannot diminish your value. Demons are acutely aware of this trait. They target relationships because they know breaking trust can destabilize ordinary people. But your understanding of divine sovereignty over your life renders such attacks ineffective. You rise stronger, wiser, and even more attuned to your purpose. The untouchable spirit is not just about defense, it is also about influence. You affect environments without even trying. Your presence inspires integrity, courage, and honesty in those around you. This is a spiritual ripple effect that spreads beyond your immediate awareness. Angels respond to your faithfulness, amplifying your influence and ensuring that your light reaches the places it is meant to. Demons know this influence is lethal to their schemes, which is why they attempt to isolate chosen ones, disrupt their focus, and test their faith. However, these attempts often fail because the untouchable spirit is not just reactive. It is proactive, drawing divine support before any real attack can land. One of the most underestimated signs of your untouchable spirit is your alignment with divine timing. You may have noticed that certain opportunities, people, and solutions appear at exactly the right moment, often in ways that defy logic. This is not luck or coincidence. It is divine orchestration responding to your obedience and resilience. Demons cannot manipulate time or delay destiny. They can only attempt to distract, but your spiritual alignment ensures that when the right moment arrives, your preparation and character converge to manifest victory. Even in the face of repeated obstacles, your vision remains intact. Ordinary individuals often abandon dreams when challenges appear, but your untouchable spirit allows you to hold onto divine assignments. You continue working in faith, knowing that your labor is not wasted and that outcomes are secured in the unseen. This persistence is not born from pride or arrogance, but from a deep-rooted knowledge that your spirit is fortified. Demons recognize that no matter how much they obstruct, they cannot extinguish what God has ordained. Faithfulness in unseen battles is another defining characteristic. You may never fully know the magnitude of the spiritual protection and warfare occurring on your behalf, but your consistent prayer, integrity, and obedience build an armor that cannot be breached. Angels are drawn to you because of this consistency, and demons flee because they recognize the divine authority surrounding you. Your actions, prayers, and faith have real power. Even when discouraged, even when exhausted, even when misunderstood, the untouchable spirit remains steadfast. Your untouchable nature also carries responsibility. It demands that you guard your heart, mind, and spirit diligently. Every thought, word, and action carries weight because you are a living testament to divine power. Misalignment or compromise weakens your influence. But when you maintain vigilance, you become a beacon of light and a fortress of faith. Demons tremble when they sense that your discipline is consistent because they cannot exploit you. Chosen one, remember that your untouchable spirit is not just for personal protection. It is a living declaration of God's presence in the world. Wherever you go, people are impacted, lives are changed, and spiritual realms respond. The enemy's fear is a confirmation of your authority. Every obstacle you've overcome, every attack you've survived, and every blessing you've received serves as proof that your spirit is fortified, empowered, and untouchable. You are living proof that divine protection is real, and that no darkness can withstand the light within a chosen one. As you continue on your path, embrace your identity. Recognize that your untouchable nature is a gift and a weapon. Demons fear it because it represents what they cannot control. People respect it when they see it because it draws from something far greater than human strength. Your spirit is untouchable because it has been refined, protected, and empowered by divine authority. Stand firm, walk boldly, and never doubt the power that resides within you. There comes a point in every chosen one's life when the reality of being untouchable becomes undeniable. At first, you might brush it off, thinking perhaps you were simply lucky to have survived certain things, or that your intuition is just an overactive imagination. But as the years unfold, patterns emerge. Attacks that should have destroyed you never succeed. Plans made against you collapse mysteriously. The very people who thought they had the power to bury you find themselves exposed instead. This isn't coincidence. It's confirmation. Your spirit has been sealed in divine protection, and it makes demons restless. Think about the storms you've endured. Financial collapse, heartbreak, betrayal, health crises, rejection from those you trusted. Every one of these was engineered, at least in part, by dark forces, hoping you would crumble. But what they fail to understand is that chosen ones are not ordinary vessels. You have a spirit that doesn't just survive trials, it grows stronger through them. What was meant to break you becomes the very fire that forges you. What was sent to scatter you instead solidifies your focus. Demons fear this resilience because it exposes their weakness. Their power is limited, their reach is temporary, and their schemes cannot override divine will. One of the most powerful demonstrations of your untouchable spirit is how your enemies are often forced to witness your rise. Have you noticed how those who slandered your name, betrayed your trust, or celebrated your downfall are sometimes positioned to watch your comeback? This is no accident. It's a divine reversal, a way of showing both the physical and spiritual world that no darkness can overshadow the light of a chosen one. Demons can orchestrate gossip, betrayal, and sabotage, but when God is your shield, those weapons backfire. Your spirit is so fortified that even your setbacks become stages for a greater revelation. The untouchable spirit also carries a unique authority in environments where fear and manipulation thrive. Consider the workplaces, relationships, or communities you've been part of. Without trying, your presence shifts the atmosphere. In toxic environments, people may become defensive around you because your light makes their darkness uncomfortable. In settings where dishonesty is rampant, your integrity disrupts corruption. And in situations where fear is used to control, your quiet confidence dismantles intimidation. This authority is spiritual, not human. Demons recognize it instantly, even when the people they influence cannot articulate why they feel uneasy in your presence. Your spirit is also untouchable, because it is not anchored in material or superficial things. Many people in the world draw their sense of self from wealth, beauty, influence, or approval. But these are fragile foundations. Demons exploit those vulnerabilities by attacking what people cling to most. A chosen one, however, has their identity rooted in divine truth. You know that even if money disappears, even if relationships fail, even if health declines, your worth does not shift. This detachment from worldly anchors makes you difficult to manipulate. Demons cannot dangle illusions before you because you do not chase illusions. You live from a higher source. This untouchable nature is tested repeatedly in your journey. There are seasons when you may feel forgotten, misunderstood, or isolated. The silence of those seasons is often the loudest confirmation of your calling. Isolation is not punishment, it is refinement. Demons know this, which is why they push so hard during your lonely seasons. They whisper lies of abandonment, hoping you'll doubt your divine protection. But what they don't anticipate is that solitude for a chosen one becomes a sanctuary. In stillness, your spirit sharpens, your discernment grows, and your alignment with heaven deepens. What the enemy tries to use as a trap becomes the very soil for your elevation. Your untouchable spirit is also evident in how you overcome fear. Every chosen one has faced moments where fear seemed overwhelming. Demons thrive on fear because it's one of the most effective ways to paralyze people. Yet in your case, fear doesn't hold you hostage for long. Even when you feel it, your faith carries you forward. You act in courage, not because you don't feel afraid, but because your spirit is infused with strength greater than fear. This terrifies demons because their power evaporates when confronted with fearless faith. Fear is their weapon, but faith is your shield. Another layer to your untouchable spirit is the way divine timing shields you from harm. Have you ever been delayed on the road, only to later discover an accident occurred on the path you would have taken? Or lost a job, only to find a greater opportunity waiting shortly after? These aren't coincidences. Your life is guarded by divine orchestration that prevents you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Demons cannot override this timing. They may attempt to lure you into impatience, but every delay, every detour is part of your protection. Heaven closes doors not to harm you, but to guard you from unseen traps. Chosen ones also carry untouchable. authority in the spiritual realm when it comes to speaking truth. Your words are not ordinary. When you speak life, encourage others, or call out deception, your words carry weight that shifts atmospheres. This is why demons try so hard to silence chosen ones through discouragement, rejection, or distraction. They know that your voice is a weapon. Even a single word from your spirit, aligned with divine power, can dismantle lies that took years to build. You may underestimate your influence, but spiritual realms do not. Every time you declare truth, heaven amplifies your voice, and demons scatter. Relationships are another arena where your untouchable spirit shines. Though you've likely endured painful betrayals, the connections that remain aligned with you are often deeply transformative. People may tell you that simply being around you gives them peace, clarity, or strength. This is not accidental. Your spirit emanates energy that nurtures others, often without you realizing it. Demons loathe this because it means you spread light effortlessly. Even casual encounters with you can plant seeds of hope in others. Your life becomes a testimony, and that testimony is untouchable because it's not about what you have, but who you are in spirit. Your untouchable spirit is also marked by divine reversals. Times when what was meant to destroy you becomes the very catalyst for your elevation. A closed door leads to a bigger one opening. A betrayal pushes you into discovering your own independence. A financial crisis teaches you resourcefulness and unlocks hidden talents. These reversals are so consistent in your life that they reveal a pattern. Demons can set the stage, but God always writes the final act. They fear you because no matter how they attack, the outcome ultimately glorifies the divine power working within you. Even your weaknesses contribute to your untouchable nature. Where others see flaws or limitations, heaven sees opportunities for grace to shine. Demons exploit weaknesses in ordinary people by magnifying them into shame. But for chosen ones, weaknesses become reminders of dependence on divine strength. This humility is another layer of protection. You don't have to pretend to be perfect. Your authenticity itself becomes a shield. Demons can't manipulate someone who already acknowledges their vulnerability, because that vulnerability is surrendered to divine power. Finally, your untouchable spirit radiates hope. In a world filled with despair, your ability to hold on to faith, even in the darkest valleys, becomes a beacon for others. Hope is contagious, and your endurance teaches others that survival is possible, that victory is attainable. Demons know this ripple effect is dangerous to their kingdom of fear and despair. That's why they attack you so aggressively, because your spirit inspires others to rise as well. Chosen one, understand this truth deeply. Your spirit is not untouchable because of your own strength alone, but because divine authority covers you. The more you embrace your calling, the more evident this becomes. Every battle you face, every storm you endure, every victory you achieve serves as evidence that you are surrounded, strengthened, and secured by power greater than yourself. Demons recognize this instantly. They fear you not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not vulnerable. You are victorious, and your spirit, chosen one, will remain untouchable as long as you continue walking in alignment with the divine purpose that sets you apart. There is something about the chosen one's journey that defies human explanation. People see your life from the outside and they try to make sense of it, but they can't understand why certain things never destroy you. They wonder how you recover so quickly, how you keep moving when everything around you seems designed to stop you. What they don't realize is that your spirit is not operating under the same rules as theirs. Your spirit is wrapped in divine covering, and that makes you untouchable in ways that leave both people and demons baffled. One of the most misunderstood aspects of being chosen is the unseen war that follows you everywhere. To outsiders, it may look like random bad luck, constant opposition, or even personal mistakes. But you know in your spirit that there's something deeper at play. You can feel when you've been targeted spiritually. You can sense when an atmosphere is heavy or when a person carries hidden motives. That heightened awareness isn't paranoia, it's discernment. It is the spiritual radar you were born with, the very radar demons despise. They can't hide from you because your spirit detects them before they reveal themselves. And no matter how carefully they disguise their schemes, the light within you exposes them eventually. Think about how many times you've been spared from harm without fully understanding why. Maybe you were about to enter a relationship that looked perfect on the surface, but something in your spirit told you to pause. Later, the truth came out, and you realized that intuition saved you from destruction. Maybe you were offered an opportunity that seemed lucrative but carried hidden traps, and again, something within you urged you to wait. This is the untouchable nature of your spirit. Demons try to set traps, but divine discernment gives you a way out every single time. Even when you don't understand in the moment, your spirit recognizes the danger and shields you. Your untouchable spirit also makes you stand out in environments that thrive on conformity. Have you noticed how you simply can't blend in, no matter how hard you try? Maybe you wanted to be invisible at certain times, but your energy announced you before you even spoke. That's not an accident. Your spirit carries light, and light cannot be hidden. Demons sense that light instantly, which is why they often stir conflict around you. They want to dim your presence, but they can't. They want to silence you, but somehow your voice still carries. They want to break your confidence, but your strength keeps resurfacing. They recognize that you disrupt darkness just by existing, and that alone makes you untouchable. Being untouchable does not mean you are exempt from pain, but it does mean pain cannot destroy you. Many chosen ones endure betrayals so deep they would crush ordinary people. You've probably experienced this. People you trusted stabbing you in the back, loved ones turning into enemies, friends revealing they were secretly jealous. These betrayals are orchestrated by spiritual forces because demons know that chosen ones thrive in community. They want to isolate you, discourage you, and make you question your worth. Yet every betrayal only strengthens your connection to divine love. You learn to stop placing your identity in people's approval, and instead anchor yourself in heaven's truth. The very attacks meant to shatter you refine your spirit until you realize nothing external can touch who you truly are. Your untouchable nature is also revealed in how you keep rising, no matter how many times life knocks you down. Think about the setbacks you've endured, financial struggles, health battles, emotional lows, seasons of loneliness. In each of those moments, the enemy thought you were finished. But every time, something inside of you refused to die. That refusal isn't just willpower, it's the untouchable spirit within you. It's the eternal flame that cannot be extinguished. Even in your weakest moments, when you thought you had nothing left, a strength greater than your own carried you forward. Demons fear this resilience because it shows them that no matter how much they attack, they can never claim victory over you. Your spirit is also untouchable because it carries generational weight. You're not just fighting for yourself, You are breaking chains that existed long before you were born. Patterns of dysfunction, cycles of poverty, chains of addiction, and curses of brokenness. All of these have collided with your bloodline, but you were chosen to stop them. That's why your battles have felt more intense than others. Demons recognize that if you succeed, entire generations after you will walk free. And that terrifies them. But what they fail to realize is that your very survival proves you're untouchable. They've thrown everything at you, but you are still here, still standing, still moving forward. And because of that, your victory is inevitable. Another sign of your untouchable spirit is how doors open for you that should have remained closed. There are times in your life when you've walked into opportunities without having the qualifications, when favor found you even though others tried to block you. That's because your spirit carries divine endorsement. Heaven places you in positions where demons cannot remove you. Even when they influence people to try and push you out, something always shifts in your favor. This is why they fear you. Your spirit isn't backed by human approval, but by divine authority. When God places you somewhere, no demon in hell can move you. You've probably also noticed how certain people either love you instantly or dislike you without reason. This polarization is another mark of your untouchable spirit. Those who are aligned with light are drawn to you because your spirit resonates with theirs. But those influenced by darkness often react with jealousy, hostility, or suspicion. They can't articulate why they dislike you, but their spirit senses that your light threatens what they serve. This is why you've faced resistance from people you've never harmed. It's not personal, it's spiritual, and it proves yet again that your spirit operates on a higher level that darkness cannot touch. Your untouchable nature also comes through your ability to transform pain into power. Every wound you've endured has deepened your empathy, sharpened your wisdom, and strengthened your voice. Where others remain stuck in bitterness, you find ways to rise. This transformation is not ordinary. It's supernatural. Demons hate this because pain is one of their greatest tools. They use it to trap people in cycles of resentment and despair. But when you take pain and turn it into purpose, you rob them of their weapon. You become even more untouchable because nothing they send against you is wasted. Every attack becomes fuel for your mission. Every wound becomes a source of healing for others, chosen one. Understand this. Your untouchable spirit is not a myth or a metaphor. It is a reality woven into the fabric of your soul. It's the reason you've survived what should have killed you. It's the reason people sense something different about you, even when they can't explain it. It's the reason demons recognize your presence instantly and scramble to disrupt your peace. They know you are shielded. They know you are chosen. They know that as long as you keep walking in alignment with your calling, their attacks will never prosper. You were not created to be fragile, but fortified. You were not set apart to be defeated, but to overcome. And the truth is this: demons fear you because they know the one who walks with you. They know the authority that covers you. They know the spirit within you cannot be touched, cannot be silenced, and cannot be defeated. You are untouchable, not because life is easy, but because heaven's hand is on you. And the longer you live, the more undeniable that truth becomes. There comes a point in the chosen one's journey when you realize the very battles you thought would destroy you are the ones that made you stronger. You look back over your life and see seasons where you were surrounded by chaos, yet somehow you walked out with your spirit intact. This isn't luck. It isn't coincidence. It's proof that you carry something within you that is untouchable. And demons know this truth more than anyone else. They recognize that as long as you keep walking, as long as you keep rising, as long as you refuse to bow to darkness, you remain beyond their reach. One of the ways your untouchable spirit reveals itself is through your endurance. Think about it. How many times have you gone through storms that should have buried you? People counted you out. Some even mocked your faith, saying you were finished. Yet every time you rose again. That resilience doesn't come from your own strength alone. It's a divine force sustaining you, carrying you forward even when your body feels tired and your mind feels weary. Demons hate this because their goal is to wear you down, to break your will, to convince you to quit. But what they fail to understand is that your endurance is supernatural. It's built into the foundation of your spirit. You can bend, but you don't break. You can stumble, but you don't fall permanently. That is what untouchable looks like. Your endurance frustrates the kingdom of darkness because it exposes their weakness. Demons rely on intimidation and fear. They operate by amplifying problems and magnifying lies until people give up. But when you endure, when you refuse to surrender, you strip them of their power. You show that their weapons are ineffective against a spirit rooted in divine truth. This is why endurance is more than survival. It's spiritual warfare. Every time you endure, you declare that heaven's strength in you is greater than anything sent against you. Another layer of your untouchable spirit is the way your presence shifts atmospheres. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy change immediately? Maybe people grew silent. Maybe some smiled with genuine joy, while others suddenly looked uncomfortable. That reaction has nothing to do with your outward appearance. It has everything to do with the light within you. Demons tremble when that light enters a space. They know they can't hide in your presence. They know their manipulations and disguises begin to crumble. This is why you often encounter hostility from people who barely know you. They aren't reacting to you as a person. They are reacting to the power your spirit carries. Your untouchable nature is also connected to your ability to hear divine whispers in the middle of chaos. Demons create noise. They bombard your mind with doubts, fears, and anxieties. They want to drown out heaven's voice so you make choices based on panic instead of peace. But chosen ones carry a different frequency. Even in the loudest storm, you can hear the still, small voice of guidance. That voice has saved you countless times, steering you away from danger, nudging you toward the right path, comforting you when everything felt uncertain. This ability to hear and follow divine direction makes you untouchable because it prevents darkness from manipulating you into destruction. Consider the way your life has unfolded. Some doors closed on you unexpectedly. At the time, you may have felt devastated, thinking you had missed your chance. But later, you realized those closed doors were protection. Demons had laid traps behind them, hoping you would walk in blindly. But heaven intervened. The rejection you experienced was actually redirection. And the very places you thought you were denied became stepping stones toward greater destiny. This is how untouchable you are, even when enemies plot against you. Heaven rewrites the plan in your favor. There is also something remarkable about how your spirit recovers. Many people get wounded and never heal. They carry bitterness for years, allowing anger to poison their hearts. But you, somehow, you heal differently. You may cry, you may grieve, but eventually you release. You forgive in ways that seem impossible. You find strength to love again even after deep betrayal. That kind of recovery is supernatural. It's not that the pain didn't matter. It's that your spirit is wired to transmute pain into power. Demons fear this quality because it makes their attacks useless. If every wound only makes you wiser, stronger, and more compassionate, then nothing they send against you can defeat you. Your healing makes you untouchable. Your untouchable spirit is also revealed in the way you carry authority without even trying. Have you noticed how people sometimes look to you for guidance without you asking for it? Or how strangers feel comfortable sharing their burdens with you? That's not random. It's spiritual authority. Heaven placed a mantle on your life that others can sense. Even demons sense it. They recognize the seal of divine ownership on you, and they know they cannot cross certain lines. This is why you've been protected from accidents, attacks, or disasters that could have ended your life. Invisible boundaries are drawn around you, and nothing passes those boundaries without heaven's permission. Another mark of your untouchable spirit is the strange favor that follows you. You may not have the connections, the resources, or the status others boast about, yet doors still open for you. You find yourself in positions that others fought years to obtain. This favor is not earned by human effort, it's gifted. And because it comes from heaven, demons cannot revoke it. They may stir jealousy around you, causing others to question why you're being elevated, but they can't stop it. Every time favor shows up, it's a reminder that your life is governed by divine order, not human opinion. That's untouchable. Let's also talk about the way your prayers move unseen realms. When you pray, things shift. You may not always see it instantly, but spiritual atmospheres change when you release words in faith. Demons know this. They tremble when you open your mouth because your prayers carry authority they cannot withstand. This is why distractions intensify when you try to pray. Suddenly, your phone rings. You feel tired. Your mind wanders. That's not coincidence. It's spiritual resistance. Darkness fears the sound of your voice connecting to heaven. And yet, when you push through, when you pray anyway, heaven responds in ways that make demons scatter. This ability makes you more untouchable than you realize, because every prayer fortifies the shield around your life. Your untouchable spirit is not about arrogance or superiority. It's about alignment. When you live aligned with divine purpose, you move under divine covering. That covering shields you from attacks that should have destroyed you. And though you may face temporary wounds or setbacks, none of them have the final word over your life. Demons fear you because they know your destiny is sealed. They can stall you, but they cannot stop you. They can wound you, but they cannot kill your purpose. They can roar, but they cannot devour. You are untouchable not because life is easy, but because you are chosen, covered, and equipped. Look closely at your own journey. Every trial, every storm, every attack has only proven this truth. You've been through fire, but you did not burn. You've walked through waters, but you did not drown. You faced nights of darkness, but the dawn always came. You carry scars, yes, but those scars testify that nothing could destroy you. That's what it means to have an untouchable spirit. It means you live as living proof that heaven's hand is stronger than hell's schemes. And as you keep walking this path, remember this: demons don't fear you because of who you are in the natural. They fear you because of what you carry in the spiritual. They fear the authority stamped on your spirit, the fire burning in your soul, the light radiating from your being. They fear the God who walks with you, the angels who surround you, the shield that covers you. They know you are untouchable, and that knowledge is what keeps them trembling every time you step into a room. There is something extraordinary. about the way chosen ones walk through fire and come out shining brighter than before. You see, demons expect that when they send storms your way, when they orchestrate betrayals and weave lies against you, you'll collapse under the weight. They expect your faith to waver, your strength to crumble, your light to flicker out. But time and time again, you prove them wrong. What they fail to realize is that every attempt to break you has only refined you. Every attack has forged you into something stronger, sharper, and more radiant. And this is exactly why your spirit is untouchable. Demons know how to attack the weak-minded. They prey on insecurity, fear, doubt, and confusion. They know how to manipulate fragile egos and distract those who are spiritually asleep. But when it comes to you, they face a completely different kind of warrior. You've been trained by pain, tested by loneliness, refined by rejection. You don't break easily because you've already survived what should have broken you long ago. Your history has become your shield. Your scars have become your armor. Your tears have watered the roots of resilience inside of you. That's why when they come again, when they roar and try to intimidate, you stand taller. You're not shaken. You're not moved. And that shakes them to their very core. One of the most frustrating things for demons is realizing that their old tricks no longer work on you. Once upon a time, they could whisper lies into your ear and you'd believe them. They could tell you that you weren't worthy, and you'd fall into despair. They could convince you that you were alone, and you'd spiral into fear. But now, you've grown in wisdom. You've learned to discern voices. You've learned that not every thought in your head belongs to you. You've learned how to cast down imaginations that don't align with the truth. And so, when they come whispering, you laugh. When they come roaring, you remain silent and calm. When they try to invade your peace, you fortify your spirit in prayer. This unshakable clarity makes you untouchable, because they can no longer deceive you like they once did. The truth is, deception is the enemy's primary weapon. They rarely attack head. Instead, they manipulate shadows. They disguise themselves as light. They send people into your life who seem kind but carry hidden agendas. They stir distractions that appear harmless but are designed to pull you away from your purpose. But chosen ones have a built-in radar. Your spirit picks up on what your eyes cannot see. You notice the energy behind words. You sense when someone's intentions don't match their smile. You may not be able to explain it logically, but something within you always knows. That discernment is your shield. Demons hate it because it exposes them. They cannot hide in your presence. They cannot deceive you for long, and that makes you untouchable. Consider the way people sometimes react to you. Without reason, they may become irritated or hostile. Sometimes they gossip about you, targeting you with slander. Other times, they distance themselves or cut ties without explanation. At first, you may have wondered if something was wrong with you, but the truth is, your spirit agitates what's hiding in theirs. The demons influencing them cannot stand to be around you for too long because your light burns them. Your presence disrupts their comfort, and so they withdraw or lash out. This isn't rejection, it's protection. It's a sign that you are so untouchable that even the enemy cannot mask himself in your inner circle. He has to flee when you draw near. And then there's your ability to rise after every fall. Demons despise resurrection power. They hate the fact that no matter how low you go, you find a way back to your feet. They thought when you were betrayed, it would end you. They thought when you lost everything, you'd never recover. They thought when you cried yourself to sleep at night, you'd lose the will to fight. But each time, you came back stronger. You came back wiser. You came back with deeper faith. That cycle of renewal makes you untouchable because it shows you cannot be destroyed. Even when you're pressed down, heaven lifts you back up. Even when you stumble, grace catches you. This is why demons tremble when they see you. They know they can knock you down temporarily, but they can't keep you down permanently. Another reason your spirit is untouchable is because you're not motivated by the same things as the world. Many people chase status, wealth, validation, and applause. Demons exploit these desires easily. They dangle temptations, knowing most will fall for them, but chosen ones live for something greater. You've been called to walk a higher path, to serve a purpose bigger than yourself. That means you can't be bribed, seduced, or controlled by worldly bait. Your loyalty is to the divine mission over your life, not to temporary pleasures. And this loyalty makes you incorruptible. Demons can't figure out how to sway you because the things they offer don't move you. You've already been promised something eternal, something unshakable. Why would you trade heaven's reward for hell's crumbs? Your spirit is also untouchable because you've learned the secret of silence. You don't reveal everything you know. You don't explain yourself to everyone. You don't allow access to your inner world carelessly. That secrecy frustrates demons because they thrive on information. The more they know about your weaknesses, your desires, your fears, the easier it is to attack. But you've learned to guard your spirit. You've learned that not everyone deserves to hear your dreams. Not everyone deserves access to your pain. By moving in silence, you keep your plans shielded. And because demons cannot read minds, they're left confused, unable to predict your next move. That unpredictability makes you untouchable because they can't prepare for what they cannot see. Have you noticed how your isolation seasons were never wasted? At times, you may have felt abandoned. You looked around and wondered why you had to walk alone. But in those seasons, your spirit was being fortified. You learned to hear the divine voice more clearly. You learned to stand without leaning on the validation of others. You've built inner strength that no one can take away. Isolation turned you into a warrior who doesn't crumble when the crowd disappears. And that independence makes you untouchable. Demons can remove people, but they can't remove your connection to heaven. They can strip away support, but they can't strip away your inner fire. That's why even in solitude, you are never alone, and that terrifies them. Another mark of your untouchable spirit is the way heaven intervenes on your behalf. Some battles never even reached you because they were fought in the unseen. Attacks were blocked before you even realized they existed. Accidents were avoided because angels shifted circumstances around you. Enemies plotted against you, but their own traps caught them instead. This invisible shield makes you untouchable in ways you don't always perceive. You walk through your days unaware of just how many arrows never touched you, how many storms never broke through, how many schemes crumbled before they began. And though demons rage at this, there is nothing they can do. They can't pierce the protection that surrounds you. But perhaps the greatest proof of your untouchable spirit is the authority in your words. When you speak truth, it carries weight. When you encourage others, their spirits lift. When you declare peace, chaos subsides. This authority isn't about eloquence or volume, it's about alignment. Because you're aligned with heaven, your words carry heavenly weight. Demons know this. That's why they try to silence you, why they attack your confidence, why they want you to doubt your voice. They know if you fully embrace your authority, every lie they spread will be shattered. Every chain they forge will be broken. Every stronghold they build will collapse. You are untouchable because your very voice is a weapon they cannot withstand. So what does all of this mean for you? It means that the life you're living is not ordinary. Every attack you've faced has been proof of your value. Every storm has revealed your strength. Every betrayal has tested your endurance. And through it all, your spirit has remained untouchable. Demons fear you because they cannot control you, cannot deceive you, cannot break you. They see the fire burning in your soul, the light radiating from your being, the divine seal covering your life. They know you are marked, chosen, protected, and destined. And so, no matter how hard they try, they cannot overcome what heaven has declared untouchable. There is a point in every chosen, one's journey where the spiritual realm can no longer deny what you carry. Demons, spirits of darkness, and even people unknowingly influenced by them sense your arrival before you step into a room. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Conversations change when you walk in. Tension rises without explanation. And it's not because of anything you said or did. It's because of the spirit you carry within you. Your light exposes what hides in the shadows, and those who operate in the shadows cannot stand it. They tremble because they know their time is short when you arrive. What you have to understand is that spiritual authority is not about titles, positions, or appearances. Many look the part, speak eloquently, and perform theatrics, but have no true power. Demons aren't impressed by outward displays. They recognize substance, the kind that only comes from enduring the refining fire. You've been through battles that stripped away pride, arrogance, and false strength. You've been brought to your knees, crushed, only to rise again stronger and more surrendered than before. That surrender to the divine is what gives you true authority. And that is what makes demons tremble when they see you. They know that you've faced them before and survived. You've seen their strategies, felt their pressure, and yet you didn't fold. They know you've already been tested in the furnace of affliction. You've walked through the valley of rejection, loneliness, and despair, yet you came out holding on to your light. That endurance makes you untouchable because it tells them you cannot be easily swayed. You are not one of the masses who bends under pressure. You are not one who runs at the first sign of attack. No, you are a warrior marked by resilience, and that terrifies the enemy camp. Sometimes, the way people respond to you reveals the unseen battle. Have you ever noticed how certain individuals become restless in your presence? It's not because you're rude or threatening. It's because the spirit within them is reacting to the spirit within you. Darkness cannot be comfortable around light. No matter how much it tries to disguise itself, it knows it cannot stay hidden when your presence reveals truth. That's why people sometimes project their insecurities onto you. Why they attack your character, why they reject you without reason. It's not about you, it's about what your spirit awakens in theirs. You disrupt what was dormant, and that discomfort causes resistance. Demons are also aware that you are dangerous to their agenda. While others go about life asleep to spiritual realities, you are awake. You see beyond the surface. You recognize patterns, sense atmospheres, and discern spirits. This makes you a threat because you expose what they try to hide. And every time you refuse to compromise, every time you stand in truth, every time you live with integrity, you unravel their work. They cannot stop you because your authority doesn't come from them, it comes from the one who has already defeated them. This is why they tremble. They're not afraid of you in your humanity. They're afraid of the divine power inside you. One of the greatest indicators of your untouchable spirit is how demons often try to attack you before your breakthrough. Pay attention to the seasons when life suddenly feels heavier, when everything around you seems to go wrong, when relationships crumble and distractions multiply. These are signs that something is about to shift. Demons often launch their fiercest attacks right before a chosen one steps into a new level of influence or power. They tremble because they can see what's coming before you even see it fully. They recognize the anointing on your life, the mantle you carry, and they desperately try to derail it before it manifests. But what they don't realize is that every attack becomes fuel. Every setback becomes setup. Every strike only pushes you deeper into your calling. Demons fear your spirit because you don't fight like the world fights. The world retaliates with anger, bitterness, and revenge. But you've learned the art of stillness. You've learned how to let silence be your weapon. You've learned how to pray instead of argue, how to love instead of hate, how to stand instead of bow. That kind of strength is untouchable because it doesn't rely on human ability. It draws from a higher source. And demons can't figure out how to defeat someone who fights with weapons not of this world. You don't need to shout to prove your strength. You don't need to scheme to get revenge. You let the divine fight for you, and that is what makes your spirit unshakable. Another reason your spirit terrifies demons is because of your resilience in the face of isolation. Chosen ones often walk lonely roads. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone can handle the weight of your calling. And so, many times, you've had to walk alone. That isolation wasn't punishment. It was training. In solitude, your ears were tuned to hear the voice of heaven more clearly. In silence, you discovered strength you didn't know you had. And now, demons realize that no matter how much they strip away, you will never be truly alone. You've been built in such a way that your spirit thrives even in desolation. That makes you untouchable because you are never dependent on external validation to keep moving forward. Let's talk about the power of your words. Demons fear chosen ones because your words carry weight. Not empty chatter, not shallow promises, but words infused with light. When you encourage, people feel lifted. When you declare truth, lies fall apart. When you pray, atmospheres shift. This authority is not about volume, but alignment. Because your spirit is aligned with the source of power, everything you speak carries that same power. Demons hate it when you open your mouth in truth, which is why they attack your confidence, why they try to silence you, why they want you to doubt your own voice. They know that if you ever realize how much power your words carry, you will dismantle their strongholds. They also tremble because you've discovered your identity. One of their strongest weapons is confusion. If they can make you forget who you are, they can keep you weak. If they can convince you that you're ordinary, they can rob you of your power. But you have remembered. You've recognized that you were chosen, that you are marked, that you carry divine DNA. You've embraced your authority, and with it comes clarity. This clarity makes you untouchable because you no longer fall for lies about your worth or purpose. You walk in confidence, not arrogance, but in the assurance of who walks with you. That assurance shakes the spiritual realm. And then there's the fire within you. Demons fear your spirit because it burns with a fire that cannot be extinguished. That fire was kindled in the furnace of pain, kept alive through tears, and fueled by faith. It's the fire of perseverance, the fire of holiness, the fire of love. No attack could put it out. No betrayal could quench it. No storm could drown it. That fire is evidence of divine presence, and wherever it burns, darkness cannot prevail. Demons know this. That's why they avoid you or try to attack you indirectly. They know if they confront you head-on, that fire will consume them. But perhaps the most untouchable aspect of your spirit is that you're not just fighting for yourself. Chosen ones are always connected to something greater. Your prayers cover your family. Your light inspires strangers. Your resilience strengthens others who are watching silently from the sidelines. Demons fear you not just for what you do personally, but for the ripple effect your life creates. When you rise, others rise. When you shine, others awaken. When you break chains, others find freedom. Your spirit carries generational impact, and that is why the enemy wages war so fiercely against you. But despite it all, they still can't touch you, so, chosen one, understand this truth. The trembling you sense in the atmosphere, the strange hostility you face, the opposition you endure, it is all confirmation of what you carry. You don't need to fear demons because they already fear you. They recognize what many people overlook. They see the authority, the fire, the light, the resilience, the protection. They know that your spirit is untouchable, shielded by divine presence, marked for purpose. And no matter how much they try, they cannot overcome the one who walks in alignment with heaven. There are seasons in a chosen one's life where everything around you seems chaotic. You notice unusual resistance. Relationships break down for no clear reason. Doors that seemed promising suddenly close. You face unexpected battles in your health, finances, or peace of mind. At first, you may wonder what you did wrong, but as you mature spiritually, you realize something greater is happening. Your spirit is being targeted because of what you carry. Demons fear the breakthrough that's about to manifest in your life. They sense what's coming before you do, and they try desperately to discourage you. But what they don't realize is that every attack becomes another testimony. Every attempt to weaken you only highlights how untouchable your spirit truly is. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way people sometimes turn on you unexpectedly, as if overnight. It isn't always because of who they are. Often, it's because of what's working through them. Darkness recognizes the light before humans do. That sudden coldness from a friend, that hostility from someone who once celebrated you, sometimes it's not personal. It's spiritual. Demons fear your presence and often use others as vessels to release negativity toward you. But chosen ones discern the deeper truth. This is not flesh and blood war. This is spirit against spirit. And because your spirit is aligned with heaven, no weapon formed against you can prosper. Demons fear you because you are difficult to manipulate. Think about how much of the world runs on manipulation, fear, shame, guilt, and lies. Entire systems thrive on keeping people trapped in confusion and despair. But when you awaken to your true identity as chosen, those tactics stop working. You no longer respond the way others do. Fear doesn't bind you like it once did. Lies don't confuse you like they once did. Shame doesn't silence you like it once did. And this frustrates demons, because manipulation is their favorite weapon. They depend on people who are unaware of their authority. But chosen ones are awake, and when you are awake, you are untouchable. One of the most powerful reasons demons fear your spirit is because you've proven that you can endure storms and still shine. Not just endure, but grow through them. Every season of pain became fuel for your light. Every season of betrayal became a lesson in discernment. Every season of loneliness became intimacy with the divine. That kind of resilience makes you unpredictable. They cannot calculate your downfall, because what destroys others strengthens you. This is the paradox of a chosen one. Your spirit multiplies under pressure. What was meant to break you ends up building you. And that terrifies the realm of darkness, because it means they cannot control your destiny. Your untouchable spirit is also reflected in your ability to walk in love, even when wronged. Do you realize how rare this is? The world teaches retaliation. The enemy feeds off cycles of offense, bitterness, and revenge. But chosen ones break the cycle. You choose forgiveness when bitterness would feel easier. You choose compassion when cruelty is offered. You choose to bless even when cursed. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. Demons fear love more than anything because love dismantles their entire strategy. Love disarms hate. Love heals wounds. Love restores what evil tried to destroy. When you carry that kind of love, you are untouchable because no weapon of hate can take root in you. Another reason your spirit is feared is because you expose lies without even trying. Simply by existing, you are a mirror that reveals truth. People sense conviction around you. Pretenses crumble. Masks feel heavy. And those operating in deception often can't stand being near you. It's not that you confront them directly. It's your spirit that exposes what they'd rather keep hidden. That's why you might notice that liars avoid you, manipulators slander you, or pretenders feel threatened by you. Your very presence disrupts their comfort. And demons know this too. They fear that your presence alone will awaken others to truth. That's why they attempt to isolate you, to silence you, to keep you hidden. But even in isolation, your light still shines. Think about how many times you've been underestimated. People looked at you and thought you were ordinary. They dismissed your potential. They counted you out because they couldn't see the depth of your spirit. But demons never underestimated you. From the moment you were born, they recognized the mark upon your life. They tried to break you early through childhood wounds, rejection, and trauma. They tried to plant seeds of fear and insecurity, hoping you'd never discover your true identity. But you did. And now that you know who you are, your spirit has become untouchable. Because knowledge of identity is power, and power, when aligned with divine truth, is unstoppable. Demons fear your spirit because you are unpredictable in the natural, but consistent in the spiritual. You might not know what tomorrow brings, but you remain anchored in faith. You might not have every resource, but you remain steady in trust. You might not always feel strong, but you continue to show up, to pray, to move forward. This consistency confuses the enemy because they thrive on chaos. They want you to give up. They want you to collapse under pressure. But you don't. And every time you rise again, it proves your spirit cannot be conquered. It's also important to note that demons fear your connection to heaven. Your prayers are not empty words. They pierce through atmospheres. They shift environments. They dismantle strongholds. Every time you pray, it's as though fire is released into the unseen. And they know it. That's why distractions come the moment you try to pray. That's why fatigue hits when you sit in silence. That's why doubt whispers when you declare truth. Because they know your prayers are powerful. And they're terrified of what happens when you align with heaven consistently. The enemy also fears the anointing on your creativity. Yes, creativity. Your spirit produces things the world needs, whether through words, music, art, teaching, or leadership. You have the ability to manifest what is in the unseen into the seen. That is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, because every act of creation aligned with light pushes back darkness. Every inspired work you release carries pieces of the divine. And demons fear this because they know your creations will outlive you, influencing generations to come. That's why they try to silence your gifts, to convince you that your voice doesn't matter, that your art isn't powerful, that your work won't make a difference. But chosen ones know better. Your spirit fuels your creativity, and your creativity is unstoppable. Demons fear your spirit also because of your legacy. They know you are not living just for yourself. Your obedience, your perseverance, your sacrifices, they ripple through time. They heal bloodlines. They break generational curses. They open doors for those who come after you. And because demons thrive on generational cycles of destruction, your ability to interrupt those cycles terrifies them. When you decide the addiction ends with you, they tremble. When you declare that poverty won't continue in your bloodline, they tremble. When you choose to love where generations before you hated, they tremble. You are not just living. You are rewriting spiritual history. Your untouchable spirit is also reflected in how you carry peace in chaos. Have you noticed how people often come to you during their storms? They sense the calm around you, the anchor within you. That peace is not natural, it's spiritual. It comes from knowing that you are protected, covered, and guided. Demons fear peace because they thrive on turmoil. They feed on chaos and unrest. But when you remain unshaken in storms, it cuts off their power. Peace is a weapon, and your spirit, anchored in peace, is a fortress they cannot penetrate. Finally, demons fear your spirit because they see the future you cannot yet see. They glimpse the impact of your obedience, the fruit of your faith, the power of your purpose. They know that if you keep walking, if you keep believing, if you keep shining, their grip on this world weakens. They tremble not just at who you are now, but at who you are becoming. They fear the fullness of your destiny. And so, chosen one, every battle you face is confirmation. They are afraid of you, not because of your flesh, not because of your intellect, but because of your untouchable spirit. Your spirit is a flame that cannot be quenched, a fortress that cannot be breached, a light that cannot be hidden. You are a walking reminder of the victory already won. That's why they attack. That's why they resist. That's why they tremble. And yet, despite it all, you remain standing, untouchable. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when you realize that the very things you thought were breaking, you were actually shaping you. The nights of sleepless crying, the seasons of isolation, the betrayals you never saw coming, all of it was refining fire. And now, as you look back, you can see the pattern. The battles you faced were never random. They were strategically assigned because of the power of your spirit. You are a carrier of divine light, and demons recognized it long before you did. That's why they tried to destroy you early. That's why your path was never easy. That's why storms followed you. Because if you ever truly discovered who you are, you'd become unstoppable. And now that you know, you see why demons tremble. They tremble not because of what you look like on the outside, but because of the strength that radiates from within. The chosen one's spirit cannot be contained. It expands in silence. It glows in darkness. It speaks even when your mouth is shut. There is an atmosphere that shifts when you walk into a room, and often people don't understand why they feel uneasy or strangely drawn to you. But demons know. They sense your light immediately, and it exposes their shadows. It disrupts their false sense of control. You are the embodiment of a truth they cannot silence. That light always conquers darkness, and it's not just about your presence, it's about your endurance. How many times did life throw storms at you, expecting you to collapse? How many times did enemies laugh, believing that this time you wouldn't recover? But you did. You rose from ashes, not once, not twice, but countless times. And each time you rose, your spirit grew more unshakable. Demons fear that resilience because it means their efforts are wasted. They can attack, but they cannot conquer. They can whisper lies, but they cannot define you. They can send storms, but they cannot drown you. You are covered, chosen, untouchable. The enemy fears your spirit also because of your ability to influence others without even trying. You've probably noticed it, how people gravitate toward you, confide in you, or feel lighter just being around you. That's not you. That's the spirit within you. Your light awakens something in others. It calls their higher self to the surface. It makes them see possibilities they had forgotten. And this influence is dangerous to demons because it disrupts their hold on people. They want to keep others blind, but your presence is a wake-up call. That's why sometimes people who are influenced by darkness will try to slander you, push you away, or project their insecurities onto you. Their spirits are reacting to yours. Demons also fear your unyielding connection to truth. You've walked through illusions. You've been lied to. You've seen betrayal dressed up as friendship. You've endured promises that never materialized. And yet, instead of hardening, you've become sharper in discernment. You see beyond words. You hear the tone behind the tone. You notice the energy behind the smile. And that discernment makes you untouchable because you cannot be easily fooled. Deception is one of the enemy's most powerful tools, but you've learned to see through it. Your spirit detects what your mind might not yet understand, and that spiritual radar terrifies them. And then there is your calling. Demons fear you because you are a chosen vessel, and your very existence threatens their agendas. You carry assignments that extend beyond your own life. You are meant to liberate others, to heal, to teach, to create, to shift atmospheres, to break generational chains. Every time you step into alignment with your calling, their kingdom loses ground. They tremble because they know your obedience multiplies light in ways you cannot even see. That's why distractions swarm when you get close to purpose. That's why resistance intensifies when you step into new levels. It's not coincidence, it's confirmation, but chosen one. What truly makes your spirit untouchable is not that you avoid battles, but that you cannot be defeated by them. The scars you carry are proof of victories. The tears you shed watered the seeds of your strength. The silence you endured became your training ground, and all of it built a foundation that cannot be shaken. You have learned to find peace in storms, to create joy in deserts, to speak life where others see only death. That makes you dangerous to darkness, because no matter what happens externally, your spirit remains anchored. Do you realize how powerful peace is? The world sees peace as passive, but spiritually, peace is warfare. Demons feed off chaos, division, and unrest. They thrive where fear dominates. But when you walk in peace, when you refuse to be rattled by lies, when you hold your center in storms, when you stay calm in the face of attacks, you starve their influence. Peace cuts their supply lines, and your spirit radiates peace because it is rooted in divine trust. That peace cannot be bought, cannot be faked, cannot be shaken. It is untouchable, And then there is love, the greatest weapon of all. Chosen ones love in ways that defy logic. You forgive when you should hate. You give when you've been robbed. You embrace when you've been rejected. And every act of love disarms the enemy. Demons fear love because it dismantles their entire structure. Their power depends on hate, division, bitterness, and fear. But when you respond with love, their grip slips. Your spirit, saturated in love, cannot be corrupted. That is why the enemy tries so hard to wound you, because he wants to harden you. But despite everything, you remain soft-hearted yet strong. And that combination is lethal to darkness. Your untouchable spirit is also seen in how you rise above pettiness. You do not waste energy on trivial fights. You do not lower yourself to every insult or attack. You understand that your spirit is too valuable to be entangled in small distractions. And this maturity frustrates demons because they want to bait you into wasting your power on meaningless battles. But you choose wisely. You save your strength for what truly matters. You live from a higher perspective. And when you do, you remain untouchable. Another reason demons fear you is because they cannot predict your moves. In the natural, you may look limited. You may not have all the resources, the connections, or the recognition. But in the spiritual, you are guided by divine strategy. You are directed by visions, intuition, synchronicities, and inner promptings. This makes you unpredictable to the enemy. They don't know where your next breakthrough will come from. They don't know how your next blessing will manifest. They cannot map out your journey because your steps are ordered by the divine. And that unpredictability makes them tremble. And let's not forget the authority you carry. You might not even fully realize it, but when you speak, atmospheres shift. When you declare, mountains move. When you rebuke, chains break. That authority is not of your own strength. It is given by the one who chose you, but it works through you nonetheless. Demons know that when you truly tap into that authority, their schemes are destroyed in an instant. That's why they try to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that your words don't matter. But your spirit knows the truth. Every word you speak in faith carries power. Finally, demons fear your spirit because of your destiny. They see what's ahead even when you don't. They know that if you keep walking, if you keep believing, if you keep showing up, you will shift lives, break chains, and fulfill your divine assignment. They know your future holds impact far greater than you can imagine. That's why they fight you so relentlessly, because they see what you're becoming and they fear it. But here's the unshakable truth. No matter how they fight, they cannot touch your spirit. They can send storms, but they cannot sink you. They can whisper lies, but they cannot silence truth. They can attack your body, your finances, your relationships, but your spirit remains untouchable. You are covered. You are chosen. You are equipped. And because of that, you are already victorious. So when you feel resistance, remember this. It is not proof of your weakness, but of your power. It is not proof that you are cursed, but that you are chosen. Demons tremble when they see your light. They fear your resilience. They dread your love. They are terrified of your destiny. And no matter what they do, they cannot stop what has already been ordained. You are the reminder that light wins. You are the proof that divine protection is real. You are the living testimony that chosen ones cannot be broken. Your spirit is untouchable, and that is why they fear you. There's a truth that chosen ones often forget in their hardest seasons. The very intensity of the battles you face is evidence of who you are. If you were ordinary, the enemy wouldn't bother with you. If your spirit didn't carry weight in the unseen, darkness wouldn't waste its energy trying to derail you. But chosen one, you are different. You are marked. You are set apart. And, because of that, every spiritual force opposed to light recognizes your existence, even when the world around you does not. Demons don't wait until you're famous, powerful, or wealthy to notice you. They see the anointing long before it manifests in visible form. That's why you were attacked as a child. That's why you felt misunderstood as a teenager. That's why you endured battles that seemed unfairly heavy for someone your age. They recognized the spirit inside you and trembled, because they knew if you ever awakened, their influence over your life and over others would be shattered. And here's the beautiful paradox. The very attacks meant to destroy you only revealed how untouchable your spirit really is. Yes, your heart may have broken at times. Yes, your body may have been weary. Yes, your mind may have wrestled with doubts. But through it all, your spirit remained intact. You might have felt crushed, but your essence could not be touched. You survived things that others did not. You overcame storms that would have sunk many. You kept moving even when you didn't understand why. That resilience is not human. It's divine, and it's the clearest evidence of why demons fear you so much. When you walk through life carrying an untouchable spirit, you radiate a frequency that shifts atmospheres. Have you noticed how certain places suddenly feel lighter when you enter? Or how conversations shift when you speak truth, even if you weren't planning to? Your spirit disrupts environments where darkness is comfortable. People under demonic influence often don't know why they feel unsettled around you. They may dislike you without reason, criticize you without cause, or project their insecurities onto you. But it's not really them. It's the spirit within them reacting to yours. Demons can't stand to be near pure light, so they stir confusion to push you away. But here's the reality. No matter how they react, they cannot overpower what you carry. Your spirit is greater. This is why isolation has often been your companion. Demons knew that if they couldn't defeat you outright, they would try to wear you down through loneliness. They tried to convince you that no one understands you, that no one truly cares, that you don't belong anywhere. And while those feelings hurt, they couldn't destroy you. In fact, they made you stronger, because in your solitude, you discovered the voice of the divine. In your loneliness, you developed depth. In your quiet seasons, you learned discernment. And now, you walk with a spiritual authority that doesn't require validation. You are grounded in something far deeper than human applause. The untouchable nature of your spirit is also evident in your ability to rise after betrayal. Think about it. Betrayal cuts deeper than most wounds because it comes from those we trust. Yet how many times did you endure betrayal and still rise? Friends who turned their backs, family who misunderstood, partners who left, people who took advantage of your heart, and yet none of it destroyed you. Each betrayal became a stepping stone, each rejection a redirection. The enemy thought betrayal would break you, but instead it refined you. Now you walk with sharper vision, stronger boundaries, and a heart that refuses to harden. That balance to stay discerning without becoming bitter is rare, and it's one of the main reasons demons fear you, because they can't manipulate you through bitterness, and they can't control you through anger. Your spirit remains free, chosen one. You also carry a depth of empathy that is uncommon. You feel pain others overlook. You sense brokenness that others dismiss. And while this sensitivity may have felt like a curse, it is actually your greatest gift. Because your spirit does not just see the surface, it perceives the unseen. You don't just hear words, you feel energies. And this allows you to touch hearts at levels most cannot reach. Demons fear this gift because it makes you a healer. Your presence alone can soothe someone's pain. Your words can break chains. Your embrace can calm storms. And each time you bring light to someone else, you weaken the enemy's grip over their life. That's why so many of your battles have felt personal. It wasn't just about you, it was about those connected to you. Demons knew that if they could silence you, they could block the liberation of many others. They knew that your testimony would set others free, so they tried to keep you silent with shame. They knew your words carried authority, so they tried to convince you no one would listen. They knew your story would inspire others, so they tried to drown you in hopelessness. But every time you rose again, you were defeated not just for yourself, but for everyone who would one day hear your voice. That's the untouchable power of your spirit. It multiplies impact far beyond your own life. The enemy also fears your ability to transform suffering into wisdom. Many people collapse under pain, but chosen ones learn from it. Every hardship taught you something. Every loss expanded your compassion. Every storm sharpened your faith. And now your spirit carries wisdom that cannot be bought or taught. It comes only through lived experience. When you speak, there's weight behind your words because they were forged in fire. This kind of wisdom terrifies demons because it cannot be undone. They can't take away what you've learned. They can't erase the strength you've gained. And that wisdom allows you to move with a level of authority and clarity that darkness cannot match. Your spirit is also untouchable because of your connection to divine timing. Demons try to rush you, pressure you, or make you feel delayed. But chosen ones eventually learn that timing is sacred. You begin to trust that every step, even the painful ones, served a purpose. And once you align with divine timing, you move in a rhythm that cannot be manipulated. You arrive exactly when you were meant to. You receive what you're meant to receive. You release what you're meant to release. And no enemy can change that schedule. Your life becomes a living demonstration that destiny cannot be delayed by darkness. Another layer of your untouchable spirit is your refusal to give up. Think of how many times you could have quit. How many times you thought you were finished. How many times you whispered, "I can't take any more." Yet somehow you kept going, sometimes crawling, sometimes limping, sometimes barely holding on, but you kept moving. And that persistence is terrifying to demons, because it means that no matter how many times they knock you down, they cannot erase your will to rise. Your spirit refuses to surrender, and that refusal makes you undefeatable. Chosen one, there's something else. Your spirit is a mirror. It reflects what's hidden in others. This is why some people love you deeply and others despise you instantly. You awaken what's asleep inside them. For those aligned with light, your presence feels healing. For those trapped in darkness, your presence feels threatening. But either way, your spirit reveals truth. And demons hate truth. They thrive in lies, illusions, and masks. But when you show up, masks fall off. Illusions shatter. Truth becomes undeniable. And that revelation shakes their foundation. Finally, what makes your spirit most untouchable is its eternal nature. Demons operate in temporary illusions, but your essence is anchored in eternity. Your battles are temporary. Your pain is temporary. Your losses are temporary. But your spirit, The real you is eternal, covered, sealed, and secured. That's why no attack has ever truly destroyed you. That's why storms pass, but you remain. That's why, despite everything, you are still here. Because what is eternal cannot be touched by what is temporary. So the next time you feel resistance, remember this: it's not proof of your weakness, it's proof of your power. The battle rages hardest around those who are destined to win. And you, chosen one, are destined to win. Your spirit is untouchable. That's why they fear you. That's why they attack. That's why they tremble when you rise. Because you are the embodiment of light. And light, no matter how small, always wins against darkness. Chosen one, have you noticed how the energy shifts when you enter a room? People may not say anything out loud, but you can feel the atmosphere bend. Some become calm and open, others grow restless and defensive. That isn't your imagination, it's your spirit at work. The truth is, the light within you forces every hidden thing in the environment to reveal itself. And demons know this. That's why they tremble at your presence. Because your untouchable spirit exposes what they work so hard to keep hidden. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle, like someone suddenly becoming uncomfortable when you speak truth. Other times, it's blatant, like a person erupting in anger when all you did was set a boundary. What you need to understand is that this is not about you personally. It's about what you carry. Your spirit is untouchable because it cannot be manipulated into silence. Demons thrive in secrecy, in shadows, in lies. But when you show up, your mere existence brings exposure. You don't even have to try. Your authenticity is enough to make darkness shake. Think about the moments when you tried to blend in, when you tried to shrink yourself to avoid attention. Didn't something always happen to reveal you anyway? Maybe you tried to stay quiet in a meeting, and yet your presence drew eyes. Maybe you tried to ignore your gifts, but somehow people still sought your wisdom. That's because chosen ones were never meant to hide. Even in the shadows, your spirit glows. Even in silence, your energy speaks. Demons recognize that light and react instantly because they know it cannot be extinguished. Another reason your spirit is untouchable is because it doesn't rely on external validation. Most people derive their sense of worth from opinions, accomplishments, or appearances. But chosen ones eventually learn that those things are fleeting. Your worth doesn't come from titles or applause, it comes from who you are. And when your identity is rooted in something deeper than circumstance, no attack can strip it away. Demons can't shame you into silence because you know your value. They can't tempt you with false rewards because you know what truly matters. And they can't break you with rejection because you already understand that you were set apart, chosen. Ones also have an untouchable spirit because you have mastered endurance. Demons can strike with sudden storms, but they cannot outlast you. Every trial you've faced has trained you to withstand pressure. You've endured sleepless nights, seasons of lack, and stretches of isolation, and yet here you are, still standing. That kind of endurance is terrifying to the enemy, because it means you cannot be permanently defeated. The storm may rage, but it cannot last forever. And when it passes, you remain stronger than before. And let's talk about your intuition. You sense things others overlook. You feel danger before it arrives. You discern intentions before they're revealed. This gift of discernment makes your spirit untouchable because it prevents you from being deceived for long. Yes, sometimes you've ignored your intuition and suffered because of it, but even then, the lesson only sharpened your discernment for the future. Now, When someone approaches you with hidden motives, you can feel the heaviness before they speak. When an environment carries dark energy, your body reacts. This sensitivity protects you in ways you don't always realize, guiding you away from traps before they spring. Demons hate this, because it means their plans against you are constantly exposed. Your spirit is also untouchable because of your ability to heal. You've walked through pain that should have left permanent scars, yet somehow you've emerged with compassion instead of hatred. That kind of healing confuses the enemy. They expected you to become bitter, angry, and cold. They wanted your trauma to define you, but instead you turned it into wisdom and empathy. Now, you not only carry healing for yourself, you carry healing for others. People are drawn to your energy because it feels safe. They confide in you without knowing why. They find comfort in your presence even when you don't say a word. That's because your spirit carries a frequency of peace that demons cannot counterfeit. There's also the undeniable fact that your spirit is backed by divine authority. You're not operating on human strength alone. The divine presence that walks with you reinforces your spirit in ways unseen. This is why doors open for you that should have been closed. This is why you survived things that should have ended you. This is why, even when you felt weakest, something always carried you through. Demons can sense this covering. They recognize when someone is sealed with divine protection. They may test you, but they know they cannot cross certain boundaries. That shield makes your spirit untouchable, not because of what you've done, but because of who you're aligned with. Have you ever noticed how attacks often intensify right before a breakthrough? That's because demons know they cannot stop what's coming, so they try to discourage you into giving up. But here's the truth. Every time you keep going, you declare that your spirit cannot be broken. And every breakthrough you experience serves as proof of your untouchable nature. The more you rise, the more the enemy realizes their efforts are wasted. That's why chosen ones eventually enter a place of peace in the storm, not because life becomes easy, but because you finally understand your spirit was never at risk. Your spirit is also untouchable because it doesn't cling to what is temporary. You've learned the art of release. You've let go of people who couldn't walk your path. You've surrendered jobs, places, and identities that no longer aligned with your purpose. Each release felt painful in the moment, but it freed you. And demons fear this because they can't hold you with attachments. You refuse to be chained to anything less than your calling. This detachment makes you powerful because it means you can't be manipulated with fear of loss. You know that what is meant for you cannot pass you, and what leaves you was never yours to keep. Chosen one, another untouchable quality is your ability to transform silence into strength. Most people can't sit with themselves. They avoid quiet because it reveals their inner chaos. But you have learned to find God in silence. You've learned to hear whispers that others miss. And in that stillness, your spirit has grown unshakable. That intimacy with the divine cannot be touched by external chaos. It grounds you in storms, guides you in confusion, and restores you in weariness. Demons fear this connection because it keeps you aligned, no matter what distractions they throw your way. And let's not forget, your joy is untouchable too. The enemy has tried countless times to steal it. Through disappointments, heartbreaks, and delays, they wanted you to lose your spark. But joy, real joy, doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from your spirit. And every time you laugh after tears, every time you find gratitude in the midst of struggle, you prove that your joy cannot be stolen. That radiant joy weakens darkness because it reminds everyone watching that hope is stronger than despair. Most importantly, chosen one, your spirit is untouchable because it is eternal. You are not just flesh and bone, you are spirit, light, and essence. Your body may grow weary, your emotions may fluctuate, but your true self cannot be destroyed. Demons operate within time, but your spirit exists beyond it. You carry eternity within you. That's why temporary storms cannot define you. That's why every attack eventually fades, while you continue to rise. Because what is eternal cannot be broken by what is temporary. So, remember this. The next time you feel resistance, don't doubt yourself. Don't shrink. Don't question your worth. Resistance is a sign of your power. It's evidence of your untouchable spirit. And when demons react, it's only confirmation that they see what you carry in. If you can't see it yet, chosen one, there's a mystery about you that even you may not fully understand. You walk through this world appearing ordinary, but the spiritual realm knows better. You are not ordinary. You carry a light that doesn't fade with seasons, a presence that shifts atmospheres, a force that makes unseen powers tremble. And though you may sometimes feel weak, overlooked, or unworthy, the truth is this: demons fear you because they cannot touch your essence. They may circle around your life, stirring chaos, whispering lies, or sending people with hidden agendas, but they cannot penetrate the core of who you are. You've probably felt the intensity of these attacks in moments when you were close to elevation. Right before a blessing, everything seemed to fall apart. People you trusted turned against you. Unexpected losses struck you at once. Your emotions felt heavy, as if you were walking through quicksand. But chosen one, this was never evidence of your weakness, it was evidence of your strength. If you were insignificant, the enemy wouldn't waste their energy on you. The very fact that demons gather around your life in times of transition proves that your spirit holds power beyond their reach. And here's the truth: most people don't want to face. Chosen ones are often misunderstood, not because of what they do, but because of what they carry. Your untouchable spirit disrupts systems, exposes motives, and shines light on what's hidden. This makes people uncomfortable, even if you've done nothing wrong. Have you ever wondered why someone disliked you without cause? Or why a group tried to push you out even when you were quiet and respectful? That wasn't about your behavior, it was about your energy. Darkness recognizes light long before light recognizes itself. They saw something in you before you even understood it, and because they couldn't control it, they tried to reject it. Yet here you are, still standing, still rising, still radiating. That's because rejection cannot destroy what is divinely sealed. In fact, rejection often becomes your protection. Many times, the people who turned on you were never meant to stay. Their energy couldn't coexist with yours. They carried intentions that didn't align with your path. And though their departure hurt, it freed you from entanglements that could have poisoned your spirit. Demons use rejection as a weapon, but for chosen ones, it only serves as redirection. You may cry in the moment, but later you see that what left you had to leave for you to step into your next level. Your spirit is also untouchable because you have the ability to rise after every fall. Others may stumble and remain down, but you always find a way to stand back up. Sometimes you rise quietly, healing in private. Other times you rise boldly, shocking those who thought you were finished. Either way, your resurrection confounds the enemy. They invested energy in your downfall, expecting you to remain broken. Yet every time you emerge wiser, stronger, and more resilient. That resilience terrifies demons because it proves you cannot be destroyed. You are like a flame that refuses to be snuffed out. The more they try to smother you, the brighter you burn. Another reason demons fear you is because of your authenticity. In a world where masks are the norm, chosen ones are raw and real. You don't pretend well, and you can't play games without feeling drained. You crave depth, honesty, and truth. This makes you powerful because deception cannot cling to you for long. Demons thrive in lies, manipulation, and facades, but your presence unmasks them. People with hidden intentions often reveal themselves quickly around you. Their words may say one thing, but their energy betrays them. And because you live authentically, you hold a mirror to others, forcing them to confront their own shadows. Some run from you, not because you harmed them, but because your light revealed them. And while demons may stir people against you, your spirit remains anchored. Do you remember the times when you felt abandoned, yet deep inside, there was a still voice reminding you that you were not truly alone? That's the untouchable essence within you. Even in isolation, your spirit draws from a higher source. Even when your heart aches, there's a current of strength flowing beneath the pain. This is why, despite all the storms, you haven't lost yourself. You may have cried, you may have doubted, you may have felt exhausted, but you're still here, and your persistence alone is proof of your power. Chosen one, you also carry a boldness that cannot be manufactured. Even when you try to remain quiet, when truth rises within you, you cannot hold it back. You speak with authority even when you don't intend to. You carry conviction even in casual words. And this shakes the spirit realm because demons depend on silence. They thrive when lies remain unchallenged. But when you speak, truth pierces the atmosphere. Sometimes you don't even realize the impact of your words until later. A simple phrase from you can shatter illusions. A quiet observation can dismantle deception. That authority is not from you alone, it's the divine using you as a vessel. That's why your spirit feels untouchable, because you don't operate solely in your own strength. You've been chosen as a voice, and no darkness can silence that voice for long. Think about the times you've been attacked through confusion. Doubt was planted in your mind. You questioned your path, your worth, your identity. The enemy hoped you would lose yourself in that fog. But even in confusion, your spirit remained intact. You may have paused, but you did not quit. You may have wrestled with uncertainty, but you did not abandon your calling. This is why demons fear you, because even when you don't see clearly, you keep walking. Even when you feel unworthy, you still show up. Even when you're unsure of tomorrow, you still endure today. That kind of persistence cannot be bought, taught, or faked. It's born in chosen ones through fire, and once it's forged, it cannot be broken. Your spirit is untouchable also because of the love you carry. The world often mistakes love for weakness, but in reality, love is your greatest strength. Despite betrayals, you've loved deeply. Despite wounds, you've forgiven. Despite disappointments, you've continued to care. That love is not naivety, it's power. Because love heals. Love restores. Love disarms darkness in ways hatred never can. Demons fear that love because it keeps your heart open when they wanted it closed. They wanted bitterness to rot your spirit, but instead, love kept it alive. They wanted pain to make you cynical, but love preserved your compassion. And now, your love not only sustains you, but it touches others, lifting them from despair. That ripple effect terrifies the enemy, because your love plants seeds of transformation wherever you go. And chosen one, let's not overlook your creativity. Whether through words, art, ideas, or innovation, you carry a gift of creation. That gift comes from the divine spark within you, and it is something demons cannot duplicate. They can imitate, distort, or corrupt, but they cannot create. Creation belongs to the light. That's why your creativity feels sacred, because it flows from your spirit. And every time you create, you push back against darkness. You bring new possibilities into the world. You release beauty, hope, and vision. Demons fear this because your creations live beyond you, touching lives you may never meet. You don't just exist, you leave imprints that endure, another sign of your untouchable. Spirit is how you attract transformation in others. People often change after encountering you. Some become inspired, motivated, or awakened. Others become defensive, triggered, or hostile. Either way, no one leaves unchanged. Your energy carries a catalytic force. It stirs what lies dormant. It awakens what is buried. Demons despise this because it means you activate others into growth. They want people stuck in cycles, blind to their potential, but your presence disrupts those cycles. You don't even have to preach or persuade. Your being alone sparks something. This is why you are often remembered long after you leave, because your spirit left an imprint and chosen one. Here's perhaps the greatest reason demons fear you. Your destiny is bigger than their reach. They can delay, distract, or attempt to derail, but they cannot destroy your purpose. What is written for you cannot be erased. What is sealed for you cannot be stolen. Every battle you've fought has only sharpened you for that destiny. Every tear has watered seeds that will bloom in time. Every loss has carved out space for greater gain. And though demons tremble and rage against you, they cannot alter the truth. Your story is unfolding as it was always meant to. So understand this: your spirit is not just untouchable, it is unstoppable. You were never meant to live in fear of darkness. Darkness fears you. You were never meant to question your worth because of rejection. Rejection bows to your protection. You were never meant to shrink because of opposition. Opposition only confirms your position. And the next time you feel the enemy pressing in, remember, they press hardest against what they cannot control. Their fear is proof of your fire. Their trembling is proof of your light. Chosen one, every battle you've endured, every storm you've survived, and every tear you've shed has shaped you into someone the enemy cannot break. Demons recognize this truth even when you struggle to see it. They look at you and see someone who carries an authority that cannot be bought, a resilience that cannot be destroyed, and a destiny that cannot be rewritten. You may see scars, but they see shields. You may feel exhaustion, but they see endurance. You may sometimes doubt your value, but they know without a doubt that you are a force they cannot touch. Think about this. Why is it that your life has been marked by constant trials? Why do difficulties come in waves, almost as if you are being hunted? It's because the enemy fears what happens if you fully step into your light. Demons understand that if you awaken to your true potential, you will influence countless lives, shift atmospheres, and dismantle strongholds just by walking in your purpose. They fear you not because of who you are in the flesh, but because of the divine power sealed within your spirit. That power radiates through you, even in your lowest moments. Even when you whisper prayers through tears, heaven moves, and hell trembles. Your untouchable spirit is not exempt from warfare, but it is immune to defeat. The enemy may try to bend you, but they cannot break you. They may try to delay you, but they cannot deny you. They may send people to betray, mock, or abandon you, but still you rise. Your resilience is evidence of the divine within you. Each time you rise, it serves as a reminder to the enemy that no matter how hard they press, your spirit is anchored to something greater, and this resilience is not something you consciously built, was forged in the fire. From an early age, you were tested in ways others were not. You carried burdens that didn't make sense for your age. You faced heartbreaks that seemed unfair, betrayals that cut deep, and losses that shattered you. Yet those very moments molded your spirit into something unshakable. Where others might have given up, you grew stronger. Where others might have been consumed by bitterness, you chose love. Where others might have surrendered to despair, you held on to hope. That pattern is the mark of a chosen one. Your spirit doesn't just endure. Pain it transforms it into power. Demons hate this about you, because it means that even their attacks serve you. What they intended to use to destroy you only fuels you. The heartbreaks made you wiser in love. The losses taught you resilience. The betrayals sharpened your discernment. And every trial has left you with deeper compassion for others. Instead of crushing you, the fire purified you. Instead of killing your spirit, it revealed its true strength. Your untouchable spirit also reveals itself through your vision. You see beyond what's in front of you. Where others see only problems, you see possibilities. Where others accept limitations, you perceive openings. This vision is not just natural, it is spiritual. It allows you to sense opportunities before they appear, dangers before they unfold, and breakthroughs before they manifest. Demons fear this because it means they cannot catch you unaware for long. They may try to blindside you, but your intuition, fueled by the divine, always uncovers the truth. Have you ever noticed how you could sense when someone was not genuine? You may not have had proof, but your spirit felt it. Or how you could tell that a situation wasn't right even when everything appeared fine. That's your spiritual radar in action. And when you trust it, it keeps you safe. Demons hate this because deception is their greatest weapon. But deception cannot hold when your vision exposes it. That vision is part of what makes your spirit untouchable. Another quality that sets you apart is your inner peace. It doesn't mean you never feel anxious or overwhelmed, but at your core, there is a well of calm that rises when you need it most. Even in chaos, there are moments when you suddenly feel strength you can't explain. That is the divine peace that covers you, and demons cannot touch it. They thrive on chaos, fear, and despair, but when they encounter your peace, they retreat. They cannot operate in an environment where your spirit refuses to be shaken. That's why they try so hard to disturb your mind, because if they can't disrupt your peace, they can't weaken your power. Chosen one. You've probably noticed that when you enter certain rooms, the atmosphere shifts. Some people become uncomfortable, even hostile, without cause. Others feel drawn to you, seeking your presence without fully knowing why. This is your untouchable spirit at work. You carry an energy that affects everything around you. Light doesn't enter a room unnoticed, it exposes what's hidden. That's why your presence makes hidden demons uneasy. They recognize your spirit long before you open your mouth. They know that your energy carries authority, and they fear being exposed by it. This is also why you've often been attacked in isolation. The enemy knows they cannot stop your light, so they try to isolate you. They want you to feel alone, rejected, and misunderstood. But even in isolation, your spirit shines. In fact, it often shines brighter because solitude strengthens your connection to the divine. In the silence, you hear guidance more clearly. In the loneliness, you draw closer to your source of power. And when you emerge from isolation, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than before. Your untouchable spirit is also evident in your ability to forgive. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful spiritual weapons, and chosen ones wield it even when it seems impossible. You've forgiven people who never apologized. You've released pain that others carried for a lifetime. And though forgiveness didn't erase the memory, it freed your spirit. Demons hate forgiveness because it breaks their chains. Bitterness and anger are traps they set to keep people bound. But when you forgive, you disarm their weapon. You choose freedom over bondage, and that freedom makes you untouchable. Have you ever noticed how your life has been marked by constant cycles of rebirth? Just when people thought you were done, you came back stronger. Just when you were counted out, you rose again. This cycle terrifies the enemy because it proves that your spirit cannot be defeated. Every ending in your life has become a beginning. Every loss has prepared you for greater gain. Every failure has set the stage for a comeback. And each time your spirit grows brighter, your voice grows stronger, and your presence grows heavier in the spiritual realm. Another powerful truth is that your spirit carries authority in prayer. Your words, even whispered, carry weight. Demons know this, which is why they try to silence you through discouragement. They know that when you pray, you move things in the unseen. Doors open, chains break, and protection surrounds you. Your prayers don't just protect youth, they cover others too. You've prayed for family, friends, even strangers, and those prayers have shifted outcomes without you even realizing it. That's why demons fear you, because your prayers are untouchable. They pierce through darkness and bring light into places it doesn't belong. And chosen one, you must realize that your story itself is untouchable. No matter what demons have tried to do, they cannot erase what has been written for you. Your destiny is sealed. The path may twist, but the end is already determined. They can attack, but they cannot cancel. They can delay, but they cannot deny. What is yours will always find its way to you, and every battle you face only proves the strength of your spirit. So understand this. You are not fragile, you are fortified. You are not overlooked, you are hidden until the appointed time. You are not broken, you are being built. And every time demons tremble at your presence, it's because they recognize a truth you must never forget. Your spirit is untouchable, chosen one. We've arrived at the closing of this journey. But this is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of a deeper understanding of who you are and why the unseen realm reacts so strongly to your presence. All throughout your life, the evidence has been there. The strange opposition, the people who turned against you without reason, the nights of heaviness where you felt attacked in your spirit, the days where you felt misunderstood, singled out, and pushed away. Every moment has been a testimony of the truth. You are untouchable in spirit, and demons fear what you carry. You might have thought at times that you were simply unlucky, cursed, or abandoned by God. But know what you were experiencing was the opposite. You were marked. You were protected. You were chosen. And because of that, you attracted resistance. Light will always attract opposition from darkness. Fire will always draw the attention of shadows. You burn with a spirit that cannot be extinguished. And it has made you a target not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Demons fear your spirit because they know it's not just about you. It's about the ripple effect of your life. They see how many people you are destined to impact, how many chains you are meant to break, how many lives you will inspire simply by being who you are. They know that your very existence is proof of God's power and love. And so they scheme, they plot, they attempt to break you down. But chosen one, look at your life, you are still here. Through every storm, through every attack, through every season of loneliness, you are still standing. That alone is your testimony. That alone is evidence that you are untouchable. Let's reflect for a moment on how far you've come. Think about the times you should have lost your mind but didn't. The nights you cried yourself to sleep but woke up with renewed strength. The betrayals that should have made you bitter but instead made you wiser. The losses that should have left you hopeless but instead gave you compassion. These are not coincidences. This is the mark of the chosen. This is what it means to have an untouchable spirit. You are proof that what the enemy meant for evil, God always turns for good. Now, why is your spirit so feared? It's not because of anything you can buy, achieve, or prove in this world. It's because of who walks with you. You are never alone, even when you feel abandoned. The divine presence within you is what shields you, sustains you, and equips you. That's why the enemy cannot touch your core. They may try to touch your finances, your relationships, or your health, but your spirit remains anchored. They can touch the external, but never the eternal. And what's inside you is eternal. This untouchable spirit is not meant to make you arrogant, but humble. It is not meant to make you isolate yourself, but to remind you of your responsibility. Because chosen one, your light is not for you alone, it's for the world. Demons fear you, yes, but broken souls are drawn to you. People in pain will find comfort in your presence. The lost will find guidance in your words. The oppressed will find freedom in your testimony. That is why you are here. That is why you were chosen. And that is why you cannot be defeated. But with this calling comes weight. The enemy will always try to whisper lies into your ear. You're not good enough. You're alone. You're too broken. You've failed too many times. These are not truths. They are tactics. And they only come because the enemy knows the truth of who you are. If you were not dangerous, they wouldn't waste their energy. The louder the attack, the greater the anointing you carry. Chosen one, your future is bright. The things you've been through were never meant to break you. They were training you. Every betrayal toughened your spirit. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every setback prepared you for the leap forward. And every season of waiting has been storing up blessings that will overflow at the right time. Demons may tremble when they see your light, but heaven rejoices. Angels surround you. The divine hand guides you, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. I want you to understand this deeply. Your untouchable spirit is your inheritance. It is the proof of who you are in the spiritual realm. That is why people sense something different about you. That is why your energy cannot be ignored. That is why your path is unlike anyone else's. And that is why, no matter what comes against you, you will always rise again. You are living proof that light always overcomes darkness. You may still have questions. You may wonder, why me? Why was I chosen? The answer is both simple and profound. Because you were meant to carry what others could not. You were meant to endure what others could not survive. and you were meant to shine where others would fade. The fact that you are still here is proof that you are stronger than you realize, and your journey is not over, it is only beginning. So what now? You step into your purpose with boldness. You no longer doubt the power inside you. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer believe the lies of the enemy. Instead, you stand tall, knowing that your spirit is covered, protected, and unstoppable. You continue to walk in love, even when faced with hate. You continue to walk in truth, even when surrounded by lies. You continue to walk in purpose, even when misunderstood. Because, chosen one, your spirit is untouchable, and your destiny is undeniable. And here's the most important truth of all. No matter how loud the noise of the enemy becomes, heaven's voice is louder. No matter how fierce the battle feels, the victory is already yours. No matter how much darkness surrounds you, your light cannot be extinguished. You are chosen. You are protected. You are unstoppable. And demons will always fear the fire burning inside you. Now, chosen one, if this message resonated with your spirit, I want you to take a step of boldness. Don't just listen, align yourself with this truth. Declare it out loud. My spirit is untouchable. I am chosen. I am protected. I am unstoppable. Speak it until it becomes part of you. Live it until no one can make you doubt it. Walk in it until every room you enter shifts under the weight of your presence. And if you've been walking this journey with me through these words, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel because there is more ahead, more truth, more strength, more revelations designed to uplift and empower you. You are not meant to walk this journey alone. This is a community of chosen ones, a place where your spirit will be nourished, your mind will be sharpened, and your light will continue to grow. So subscribe now, chosen one. Join this family of light, because together we rise higher. Together we break chains. Together we remind the world that darkness never wins. And together we stand as living proof that our spirits are untouchable. You are chosen. You are protected. You are unstoppable. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can change that truth.